Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to do a video on the hair transplant stare. Now, some of you that have already had a procedure that didn't know what you were signing up for, you might be experiencing the hair transplant stare. Okay, so if you're in a close conversation with somebody, social interaction, people will tend to lose eye contact with you, and their focus is drawn to your hairline. And what you'll find is their eyes will dart back and forth. And what that does, it starts to make you feel very uncomfortable. Now, they're not doing this intentionally. What they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out what is going on with your hair. And it's something that's just natural, something that they see something that doesn't look right. And so this goes back to some of our genetic wiring. If we see something that looks kind of out of sorts, it could be an indicator of poor health or disease. So on a kind of like a subconscious level, it's perceived as a threat. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure it out so that they can assure themselves that it's not a threat. This is all done on a subconscious level. And what you're going to find is that, like I said, this is going to make you start to feel very uncomfortable. And what happens with a lot of guys is they start to avoid social interaction. They become reclusive. I've spoken to quite a few people. And what they'll do is they'll try and keep a distance when they're talking with people, and that becomes their life. It just becomes too uncomfortable for them. So what's going on there? What's going on there is the hair caliber of your hair that was placed in your hairline is probably 3 to 4 times the thickness of the caliber of hair that was there originally. The hairline zone is made up of not only single hairs, but it's made of lighter, almost translucent hairs that are much smaller in caliber. In fact, those hairline hairs are probably 4 times thinner or even more. And so when you take a thick, dark hair and you put it in the hairline, and even if it's a single, it's going to draw attention. And that's where the hair transplant stare comes in. Now, the marketers don't tell you about this. And the reason they don't tell you is because if they were, you would never sign up for the procedure. And this goes back to seeing a patient that is a very high on the Norwood scale, a very bald patient that has had work done. Then you can pick it out right away. These younger guys, you're not going to pick it up with so much because they have a lot of hair behind it. And depending on how the hair is styled, you can kind of conceal it. But you can only conceal it for so long. So if you're experiencing the hair transplant stare, what do? You know, ideally you would have all those hairs removed. But you know, that's kind of a major deal there, and you could end up with more scarring. And basically what you're doing is you're reversing the hair transplant. Some guys, what they have tried to do is plant more hair in front of it, but then if you're not planting very thin hair, it defeats the purpose. What I've seen some patients do is they've lightened their hair. So if you can color your hair, if you can make it a light blonde, that'll kind of diminish the effect. But outside of that, you're pretty much stuck with it. And this is something the marketers don't talk about. And the reason that you don't know about it, and you didn't hear about it, because no one's coming on the internet, no one's coming on YouTube, no one's coming on Instagram, no one's coming on any of these social media platforms like Twitter and telling you what the deal is. And the reason is because They feel shame. Anyone that has had cosmetic surgery feels a sense of shame. And so it's that shame that keeps everybody in a box. And so we have tens, probably hundreds of thousands of people out there that have been disfigured, and nobody's saying boo. This is how it works. Anyhow, I have a book coming out fairly soon. It's at the editor now. I would encourage you to purchase that book if you're a victim. If you're watching this video and you're not a patient yet, I would strongly encourage you to hold off on the procedure and gather more information. And I'll make an announcement when the book comes out. I'll be doing kind of a bigger splash. But it all comes down to the marketing of the procedure. If you look on social media where most of the young guys are getting their information today, it's all marketers. 99.9% marketers. I don't think you're going to see one patient like me coming on there and telling you, hey, look, this is my head. These are my scars. This is what happened to me over 35 years. This is what I've observed over 20 years of online, every day, day in and day out, watching these guys. No one's going to do that. It's the shame. Okay, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.